All right, welcome to Saturday versus Sunday. I'm John Barban flying solo, and Thursday night football. That was terrible. Patriots, what are you doing? I mean, yes, the Jets look really good. Rodgers looked good. He was mobile. He looked good in the pocket, just doing his thing, picking them apart. He looked good off platform on the run. He just looked really good. They were clearly the better team. The Patriots put up zero resistance all game long. That was just utterly unwatchable. I'm sure Jets fans enjoyed it, but for everybody else, that wasn't actually a game. There was nothing there of any interest to watch. It was so bad. It was like watching a grown adult kick a puppy. It was just terrible. I hope that the Patriots organization has realized Brissett, there's just no reason to play him. I don't understand how they beat the Bengals in week one playing this team looks terrible. I mean, you're going to get nowhere with Brissett. He's not the future. He's not interesting. There's no reason to tune in. He's never won more than 7 games in a season. He's never been to the playoffs. Like, why would a Patriots fan want to watch this, let alone anybody else? I've been trying to sort out why it's bugging me so much that they're not playing Drake Maye. And I've heard the argument that, oh, well, he needs to sit kind of like Rodgers behind Favre and Jordan Love behind Rodgers, and he'll learn, from a seasoned veteran like Brissett, who can barely win 7 games in a season. But the whole time he's sitting, he's not getting NFL game reps at full NFL speed. Like, practice isn't it. The preseason isn't it. You got to be in an actual NFL game for the live bullets. So the entire time he's sitting, yeah, I'm sure he's learning the playbook and what all of that stuff and understanding and starting to, I guess, process maybe a little faster. But again, practice doesn't matter. You have to do it with live bullets. And so this idea that sitting is better for him, I just don't buy it, because there's enough counterfactuals that no matter which way you slice this argument up, you can't point to a definitive situation where this is a better way to do it. So, for example, Joe Burrow got thrown in his rookie season, played 10 games, won 2, tore his ACL. That team only won 4 games, so it wasn't a good team. Then in his second season, he wins 10 games and goes to the Super Bowl and could have won. And by his third season, he's a top 3 quarterback and one of the only quarterbacks with a winning record against Mahomes. So in that case, he got thrown into the fire. It didn't go well. And then the next season, he looked great. And that's kind of like Payton Manning, too. He set, I think, a rookie interception record in his rookie season. So it doesn't always have to go well in the rookie season, but I guess they're learning at full NFL speed. So these are kind of the arguments for, it doesn't matter how bad the Patriots are now. Just put him in and get him NFL speed reps and just let's see what happens. And if you don't want to do that because you think it's too much for him, then you're just admitting your team sucks so bad, it's not even worth putting your first round pick in. But then that puts you in an awkward position when you compare it to CJ Stroud, who started, looked amazing, won 10 games, then kicked the crap out of the Browns in the playoffs. And he looks like a franchise quarterback, and he looked like one of the top, 5 or 10 quarterbacks in the NFL last year. So are you just admitting that Drake Maye is not as good as CJ Stroud, and not as good, but not even good enough to even bother trying with? Or are you trying to say that the Texans team is that much better than your team? Because they weren't. We're in a rebuild mode when they got Stroud. So are you admitting that you're so far behind the Texans last year, it's too risky to put Maye in? Or are you just saying Maye, you're already admitting that with the third pick, Maye is that much worse than Stroud? There's just no way. Or are you admitting that your coaching staff can't coach him up and can't teach him as good as the Texans did with CJ Stroud? Okay, so maybe CJ Stroud's just an exceptional talent. But like a number of rookie quarterbacks have played well and made it to the playoffs in their first year, like Roethlisberger and Matt Ryan, Joe Flacco. There's been, RG3. There's been a number of quarterbacks who've made it to the playoffs in their rookie season. So is it because they inherited a good team? Like, is it the Brock Purdy argument? that he went to the NFC Championship game in his rookie season and then took Mahomes to overtime in the Super Bowl in his second season. And then what's that argument? That, oh, he inherited a Super Bowl caliber team. So it's not Purdy, it's just the team. So then if you're comparing your situation to Purdy, you're not putting Maye in because you don't have a Super Bowl team. You just have a lousy team. So no matter which way you slice it, you can find a counterfactual that either forces you to admit your team sucks or Drake Maye sucks or your coaching staff's not good enough to coach him up. Because how did Roethlisberger win 13 games in his rookie season? Or how did Matt Ryan do? Or Andrew Luck? It's either the player, the team, or the coaches. It's one of those three things. You're admitting, by not playing him, you're admitting one of those three is so bad it's not worth putting him in. And I'll even go to the Jordan Love example. He sat for 3 years. Everyone says it was, good for him to sit behind an MVP, a Hall of Famer like Rodgers. But I mean, we quickly forget how awful Jordan Love looked at the beginning of last season. If he didn't go on an epic run in the last, whatever it was, 8 to 10 games, I remember analysts and different pundits talking about, maybe Jordan Love isn't it. Like halfway through the season, he just didn't look like he was, playing at NFL speed and wasn't, getting it. And then he turned it on in the second half. And now he's got his contract and everyone forgets about how bad he looked. So, and now that's the argument for sitting behind a guy and, biding your time and learning from a Hall of Famer, from a good quarterback. But I'd argue Maye doesn't even have that. He's sitting behind a guy who I bet you Maye can win more games than him. Hell, you've already had a rookie go to the playoffs right on your team. Mac Jones just did it. So I guess I just don't understand why you don't play him. And then you put him in garbage time, like in the last 4 minutes. That was just such a bad look. Just start him next week. Like, what was the point of that? I mean, I don't know. Patriots fans. Okay, so Bostonians, you've got the NBA championship. You've got a good hockey team. I get it. The Red Sox aren't that good this year. And the Patriots are dreadful. So you're 2 for 4 as a sports town. So that's pretty good. But let's get Maye in there and just see if he can play at NFL speed. I mean, if we're going to make Jordan Love the comparison, even after sitting a number of years, when he got in, he still needed half a season, if you want to look at it this way, to catch up to NFL speed, no matter how much learning he did and how much practicing he did. So somewhere in here, just for the sake of the entertainment product, because that's what we talk about here on this show, is this entertaining or not? This team's utterly unwatchable. At least if Drake Maye is in there, it's something interesting to watch. It's the hope that he might be the future, because Brissett is clearly not the future. Brissett's not anything. He's just a placeholder. And I wouldn't even make the same comparison as Brissett and Love sitting behind Rodgers, because Rodgers is an MVP, Hall of Famer. Brissett's just a journeyman, whatever, averages, if the few seasons he started, I think he won 4 games a couple times and 7 once. So I guess whatever, they say he's a pro and all that stuff, but he's not the future. And the Patriots fans, I feel for you, because this looks like, to me, as a non-Patriot fan, just a fan of the NFL, like your team is conceding defeat and somewhere in there admitting either Maye's not good enough, or the team's not good enough, or the coaching staff's not good enough to put him in a position with whoever you got on the field right now for him to start to develop. And some of those counterfactuals I gave, like Joe Burrow had a crappy first season, Payton Manning had a crappy first season, but then, Joh Elway, I think, got benched and then got put back in and then went to the playoffs. So it doesn't have to be a stellar first season for the player to turn out great. And Jordan Love is my one example of someone who sat and after all that time went in and he looked terrible too. So I don't know. I think I'm just biased and I want to see Maye, and because I'm more excited to see what the future might be versus knowing you're playing a guy who is from the past and is going to get you nowhere. So, obviously this is more of a talk about the Patriots than the Jets. The Jets look good and Rodgers seems to be fully mobile. So it looks like that injury healed and he looks good. So But man, if the Patriots keep doing this, I mean, maybe I hope that putting Maye in at the end was them admitting the Brissett thing is just pointless and we might as well just trial by fire. So I hope we see Drake Maye for the rest of the season. It'll actually make the Patriots fun to watch. We'll see you next time.